Determining an author's message. Not only coming to terms, but also making propositions occurs among traders as well as in the world of books. Not only coming to terms, but also making propositions occurs among traders as well as in the world of books. Coming to terms, I understood what is making proposition means here. Hold on. What a buyer or seller means by a proposition is some sort of proposal. Actually, he explains. So, not only coming to terms, but also making proposition occurs among traders as well as in the world of books. What a buyer or seller means by proposition is some sort of proposal. What a buyer or seller means by proposition is some sort of proposal, some sort of offer or acceptance. Some sort of offer or acceptance. In honest dealings, the person who makes a proposition in this sense is declaring his intention to act in certain way. In honest dealings, the person who makes a proposition in this sense, is declaring his intention to act certain way. When somebody makes a proposition, they declare intention to act in certain way. More than honesty is required for successful negotiation. More than honesty is required in successful negotiation. For successful negotiation, the proposition should be clear and of course attractive. Then trader can come to terms. The proposition should be attractive, should be clear, of course, attractive. Then the trader come to terms. A proposition in a book is also a declaration. A proposition in a book is also a declaration. It is an expression of the author's judgment about something. A proposition in the book is also a declaration. It's an expression of the author's judgment about something. Expression of author, something about something. He affirms something he thinks to be true, or denies something he judges to be false. He affirms something he thinks to be true and denies something he judges to be false. He asserts this or that to be a fact. He asserts this or that to be a fact. A proposition of this sort is a declaration of knowledge, not intention. A proposition of this sort is a declaration of knowledge, not intentions. The author may tell us his intentions at the beginning in a preface. The proposition is not intention, it's just a declaration, it's a declaration of knowledge. The author may tell his intention in the beginning in a preface. In an expository book, he usually promises to instruct us about something. In an expository book, he usually promises to instruct us about something. To find out whether he keeps these promises, we must look for his propositions. To find out whether he keeps those promises, that the intention, we must look for his proposition. Generally, the order of reading reverses the order of businesses. Businessmen usually come to terms after they find out what the proposition is. But the reader must usually come to terms with the author first before he can find out what the author is proposing, what judgment he is declaring. This is why the fifth rule of analytical reading concerns words and terms, and the sixth, which are about to discuss, concerns sentences and propositions. There is a seventh rule that is closely related to the sixth. The author may be honest in declaring himself no matter on matters of fact or knowledge. We usually proceed in that trust. But unless we are exclusively interested in the author's personality, we should not be satisfied with knowing what his opinions are. His propositions are nothing but expression of personal opinion unless they are supported by reasons. If it is the book and subject with which it deals that we are interested in and not just the author, we want to know not merely what his propositions are, but also why he thinks we should be persuaded to accept them. The seventh rule, therefore, deals with the arguments of all sorts. There are many kinds of reasoning, many ways of supporting what one says. Sometimes it is possible to argue that something is true. Sometimes no more than a probability can be defended. But every sort of argument consists of a number of statements related in certain way. This is said because of that the word because here signifies a reason being given. The presence of argument is indicated by other words that relate statements, such as if this is so, then that, or since this, therefore that, or if it follows from this, that is the case. In course of earlier chapters in this book, such sequence occurred. For those of us who are no longer in school we observed it is necessary, if we want to go on learning and discovering, to know how to make books teach as well. In this situation, if we want to go on learning, then we must know how to learn from books, which are absent teachers. An argument is always a set or series of statements of which some provide the grounds or reasons for what is to be concluded. A set of series of statements which gives us reasons for what to be concluded. A paragraph, therefore, or at least a collection of sentences is required to express an argument. Paragraph, or at least a collection of sentences, is required to express an argument. The premises or principles of an argument may not always be stated first, but they are source of the conclusion. Nevertheless, if argument is valid, the conclusion follows from the premises. If does not necessarily mean it does not that does not necessarily mean that the conclusion is true, but one or all of the premises that support it may be false. There is a grammatical as well as logical aspect to the order of these rule of interpretations. We go from terms to proposition to arguments by going from words and phrases to sentences, the collection of sentences. We are building up from simpler or more complex units. The smallest significant element in the book is, of course, a single word. It would be true but not adequate to say that a book consists of words. It also consists of group of words taken as units, and similarly of groups of sentences taken as units. The active reader is attentive not only to the words but also to the sentences and paragraphs. There is no other way of discovering the author's terms, propositions, and arguments. The movement at this stage of analytical reading